with another spoiler review of the Falcon and Winter Soldier. And man, this is I think I love this show even more so than the WandaVision. Even though like there's stuff about WandaVision I absolutely love, this is like a step up, and I imagine the Loki show will be even like a bigger step up than even this. The way this is rolling out, and also considering the fact that they made this superb TV show in the midst of the whole COVID situation, and it's like, man, because I follow both Sebastian Stan and Anthony Mackie on Instagram, and like, because like several months ago, like I seen like, you know, certain like stuff they post on Instagram, behind the scenes kind of stuff, what they doing and everything like that, and it's like, yeah, I mean, it's like I didn't expect this, but man, right off the bat, you know, from the last episode when like Walker killed that terrorist who pretty much was surrendering, dude lost it. You know, he completely, you know, out of his gourd, and it's like, you know, he pretty much booked it into some warehouse, you know, breaking down, you know, knowing he messed up. He knew full well he messed up, but as soon as the Bucky and Sam came in, you gotta give back the shield, dude. You're done, because like after the stunt you just pulled in front of all those people, you're done. Like, you know, and then he's like, you know, pretty much telling them to like, you know, fall back. You know, it's like, you know, he was terrorists, so what? But he's like, no, there's no so what in this. You killed a man in cold blood, and it was a revenge killing. This is not, you know, you're a military personnel, and you were meant to bring this guy in safely in order to, you know, get everybody else, and you made it like a national essentially is a, I don't even know if it's considered like technically, I would think it's a war crime, but I'm not sure if they would classify it as that, but he's definitely committed a freaking crime. And then they got into this big three-way fight, which kind of mirrors if you seen Captain America you know, Captain America Civil War, it's like with Cap, Bucky, and Iron Man fighting, you know, now it's like Sam, Bucky, and U.S. Agent fighting 2-on-1, and the fight choreography is phenomenal. Just like, you know, just watching, every time I watch Sebastian Stan use that metal arm is awesome. You just like, because like, you know, when it makes it's vibranium against like a arm against a vibranium shield, and he's just like trying to wheel on that thing, and it's like, you know, it just like almost like cancel each other out almost. But he's trying to like get that, they trying to take the shield from him, and like dude who Walker, who got the super soldier serum coursing through his veins at this point, sitting there like, okay, you know, fine, y'all not with me or against me kind of situation, and he's sitting there like fighting these dudes. It's like, dude, these are the legit Avengers, and it's like you're really like not, like, he doesn't care at this point. I guess he's shell shocked or whatever, but dude wasn't right in his head apparently from the jump, considering what him and his partner was talking about before the end of last episode. And you know, him rip off Falcon's wings and is trying to like, you know, use the shield to, you know, crush Sam, but you know, Bucky came in and like they finally got that shield off of him. They have to break Walker's arm just to do it. So I mean, you know, they left him there. He eventually got picked up by the U.S. government, and he's pretty much like being court-martialed. They strip him of every rank. He's not getting any pension. He's not going to be Captain America anymore. And it's like dude's just having like an outburst in the middle of the courtroom. They're like, you made me, which in a way he's right. They didn't make him. They chose him to be Captain America. They trained him to be specifically Captain America replacement. And it's like they're not taking any responsibility for it, which kind of speaks to the whole Isaiah Bradley thing, which we'll get into in a minute. How like the U.S. government, you know, about that. My frames keep dropping. Anyway, though, he well, I want to mention very quickly because I didn't even know this, and like this is like deep cut Marvel, deep dive here. The Torres guy, Falcon's soldier buddy, is apparently supposed to be like Sam's sidekick in the comics. I've never seen him in much stuff at all. I thought he was like an add-on to the show, like a MCU invention, but apparently he's been around. I just never seen him and stuff, but I bet you after this he's gonna be in every freaking comic book moving forward. And it's like I don't know, like maybe like I'll look him up, but it's like Sam allowed him to keep the broken wings, and while he's taking his shield back home because they're being benched for now after the whole incident with like Carly and the Flag Smashers, which they only have like a little moment here, but last episode was like heavy with them, but less so in this episode. And right at the it's like Walker is being like driven to the courthouse. All like it's what I expected. Like the crowd's booing him, and it's like obviously he went viral very fast, and it's like why wouldn't he? And then he got the nerves to start because he wanted to say his piece and everything like that. They wouldn't let him. And it's like you made me Captain America. I am Captain America. This dude won't let it go. It's like you only had like a little tidbit in like the second episode where like he was like unsure about getting taking on this responsibility, filling on these big shoes, but he got used to it pretty fast because he was drinking his own Kool-Aid essentially. And all of a sudden, while he's sitting in the hallway with his wife or girlfriend or something, I'm pretty sure it's just a girlfriend. Lo and behold, we got Julie Louis Dreyfus, Elaine from Seinfeld coming in. I was like, is this a crossover with Veep into the MCU? Because that's wild. Apparently she's obviously a bad guy the way she was carrying on about herself, and she pretty much like sat down in between Walker and his girlfriend, feeding him this song and dance about like how she put it, like the second smartest thing you did was I might be butchering this with like put down the shield and I know like she said that the first smartest thing you'll do is answer my phone call, handing him a blank business card, which is she like the whole that whole entire scene was like a complete power move by her, and like I suspect, and a lot of people are suspecting the exact same thing. This easily can lead up into like Thunderbolts, pretty much like the Marvel's version of the Suicide Squad minus the bomb in the head kind of situation. Just with the whole Zemo could be leading it, but or she could like easily have like U.S. agent leading it. But this is like a huge deal. Sorry, 1 second. Yeah, this is gonna be a huge deal. Like, this is gonna be a serious like movie, because like obviously Zemo's been established, but we got like U.S. agent completely established, so we can easily bring in like maybe Vulture, who's already been established in Spider-Man movie, and the Scorpion, who's technically being established, but he only had like a short little cameo, minus the suit and everything like that in Homecoming. But Venom, this is like, like a few, villainous characters who's being forced by the U.S. government to do like good. They're being forced to do good, rather than being allowed to do that on their own free will. But that'd be interesting. That's obviously what's leading up to. They seeding in certain stuff, just like they seeding in the Young Avengers with Isaiah Bradley's grandson, and you got Ant-Man's daughter, and Kamala Khan, and obviously Miles Morales is gonna come up soon eventually because we already got his uncle. So all that is pretty much coming into play. Then you got Bucky, track down Zemo, who is in Sokovia at the memorial, or I'm pretty sure it's a memorial. It's like it's like big statue commemorating. That's not a word, but you know what I mean. The fallen Sokovians of the city, who he was baron of. And which Zemo's whole entire arc in this show has been phenomenal. It's just that I still remember that line. I think I really like that line where he's, I think it was in the episode, towards the end of the episode, when the Wakandan warrior Ao pops in, where it's like, did you bother to even visit the grave site of my people? Well, of course you haven't. He's still like reeling from that. It's like, obviously, and I do like the consistency he's been doing all throughout this movie. There's one thing I gotta say about Zemo: he is not a hypocrite. He destroyed that virus. He didn't take it himself or try to use it to make his own super soldiers he can control. He doesn't want none of that. Period. And then, it's just like his whole entire thing has just been great. And him and he talking to Bucky like look, who he thought Bucky's about to shoot him. He's like, he still harbors no ill will towards him. He has some respect for Steve Rogers, even though he's a super soldier. He mentioned in the previous episode he's one of the few outliers throughout his entire mission, that what he has against super soldiers. Like Steve Rogers was the outlier, but he was the exception to the rule. But it's just like everyone who proceeded after him is the issue, because they didn't have what Steve Rogers have. It's just like what made him like the exceptional man that he was. But Bucky, who tried to look like he was about to shoot him, but the gun was empty. He took out, like, he showed him all the bullets and let it drop on the ground. Then the Wakanda warriors came into the scene, walked them to the ship, mentioned the raft, another like famous Marvel prison for holding, very, very dangerous Marvel villains. Because there's also the Q, where they usually store gamma related villains that the Hulk usually fights, like the Leader or the Abomination. And I'm pretty sure in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. they mentions that's where he is kept, but it also could be the Wrath. It's one of the two. But then the rest of the way is just like pretty much, Sam all the way. It's pretty much like a very Sam centered halfway through the episode. I love what Sam's been like the moral compass throughout this entire series, but it really shows in this, because like you get to see, like, me personally, like, I can see in this specific episode, like I've seen in other episodes, but this specific episode, I could see why Cap chose him to be his successor, because he has that same moral compass as Steve did. Like, because the way he talks with people is just like that reassurance that the olive branch he always extends. That it's just that he's not gullible, but that guiding light, that willingness to offer a helping hand or giving the people a second chance kind of situation. It's like, it's all there. I love Sam Wilson in this. Anthony Mackie is awesome, but he goes back home, talks with his sister, still dealing with the whole boat situation. Bucky comes in to help out, and it's like his arm is so useful. It's like, they trying to fix certain things or tighten certain bolts or whatever like that. You don't even need wrenches or hammers or whatever when you got a vibranium arm that he can pretty much got super strength, and he just tighten something up that's it. While you sitting there trying to use like a big monkey wrench trying to tighten like a pipe up or whatever like that. It's like he asked him like, "Can you hold this?" And he's like, "It's like just hold it there while he's Sam's doing this thing." It's like his arm can pretty much almost do anything. It's like, you only need half of your tools you only need when you got that arm. And it's like when you're trying to stand in one scene trying to pull up some, not plywood, but this metal sheet off the boat, Bucky just walks by, uses his arm, pulls it right up, and just tosses it aside. There you go. He's like, thanks. Yeah, it's like, so useful. And then certain a couple of scenes when like Bucky look like he's flirting with Sissel, like, dude, come on. But I love they finally got that talk with each other. And sometimes you forget, this buddy cop thing, amidst all of the other stuff. Oh, and even before all that, I'm gonna get back to Isaiah Bradley. Sam first stops off with Isaiah Bradley, and it's like it's a gut punch when he telling Sam, it's like all the stuff that I had to I did for this country. There was a handful of us. They sitting there giving us all these shots, telling us it's tetanus when it really wasn't. They was experimenting on us. Trying to recreate the super soldier serum. Most of us was deformed, others went crazy, or just died off eventually. And some of them was captured during our mission. Isaiah went against orders, just like Steve did, went against orders to go save Bucky and the Howling Commandos when it was captured in the first Avenger movie. Then Isaiah Bradley did the exact same thing, but he got eventually arrested after all the hard work he did for the country. And if it wasn't for a nurse that took pity of him, help him escape, fake his death and everything like that, so he can just finally live in peace, he was being held against his will for 30 years. And among that 30 years, his wife uh, died within that time, so he couldn't even say goodbye. Any letters she sent to him, they held and not, let him see any of that, which the nurse eventually gave to him, so he'll have that. It breaks your heart because this so calls back to the Tuskegee, experiments and stuff like that. What they did against, the government did with black people was experimenting all these, stuff on black people, calling it vaccines and what have you. That's why this whole pandemic, at first, black people were so hesitant on using any vaccines was given out because the government doesn't have a good track record of doing, right by black people. Of course, like in the scene when, like, Sam was trying to tell him, like, it's not like that anymore. But Isaiah's not trying to hear it because, like, to him, things haven't changed to him. Because, like, and it's hard to argue because, like, the more things change, sometimes things stay the same. There's been, gradual, like, because in Sam's eyes, there's been, like, progression. Because, he understands Isaiah been through hell. And if he was in his shoes, he probably would be thinking the exact same thing as him. But it's just that, he's hardened and like jaded, and for rightly so. And, it's hard to hold it against him. It's like us as black people know exactly how crappy the U.S. has been to black people for 400 plus years, even to this day, among the whole police brutality and all, like, certain, like, racial interactions with certain white people, like Karens and what have you. And it's like, it's hard, not impossible, but it's hard to, be hopeful when it comes to, like, altercations and the same old stuff that should have been nipped in the butt a long time ago. But, that's why I love Sam, is like he still hold on to his optimism. And I think that kind of rubbed off on him when it's time hanging out with Steve for so long. It's like the belief in people. And it's like, because Steve's, for why we love Captain America so much, it's like he wasn't loyal to the government, he was loyal to the dream, which is one of the quotes in, like, Marvel Wiki. When you look him up, he believed in, like, it's similar with, like, Superman. It's like he's, Cap, like, has that never ending optimism and believe people can change. And, like, despite certain people who do wicked things, you do what you can to make the world a better place. And, like, and there will be people out there who will follow suit if you be the example. And with Isaiah Bradley's, everything with Isaiah Bradley has been, like, top notch. You just, like, and then you just just want to applaud the scene, because it's like, you understand. If you're a black person, you understand. And if you're not black, he lays it out very well. Was like for a lot of black people, and it's like, you may not understand, you probably will never understand, but you can hear him out. And it's like a perfect way to, like, to be allies. When you hear stuff like this, you can know better, so in the future you can easily step in and say, no, that is wrong. Like, when you see racism happening in front of you, you step in and nip it in the bud for your fellow black and brown people. And fast forward to like further into the scene where like Bucky and Sam practicing with the shield. Yeah, they come to like like a understanding. This is like after the ordeal overseas, and prior to that they had like an argument like right in front of that therapist that wasn't even going nowhere because Bucky at the time didn't think Sam was appreciating the gift Steve gave to him, because it's like almost like he felt like he spit in the face of like a mutual friend of theirs. But he understands that Sam has to, if he's gonna pick up this mantle, he's gonna have to do it his own way, not live the way Steve wanted him to do, but live the way he sees it. Pretty much it's like, be your own Captain America, keep the same ideals as Steve, but do it your own way. And you get to see all that with an awesome little training montage with the shield. And a couple of times I'm like, dude, be careful. You can easily get decapitated if you're not careful when you're sitting there swinging that thing around. But it's just awesome the way he did, like do certain flips just to catch that thing in midair. Is just like awesome. And then of course like you got towards the end Carly teaming up with Batroc the Leaper, who wants his revenge against Sam from the first episode, botching his mission. And I mean the Carly and the Flash Specials, that stuff has been cool, but it's like it's good, but so many other stuff beside it is, it seems so much better and so much more interesting. And it's like I'm really hooked on those things more so than even Carly, even though they're an essential part of this. And then they finally got a mid-credit scene, because I think now we're gonna be a little bit more cautious when Loki comes up, and it's like, I bet you, I don't know how many episodes Loki show will have, but I bet you in the last 2 or 3 episodes of that's going to be mid-credit scenes then, because we sitting there wasting our times like avoiding mid-credit scenes, thinking there's going to be some, but apparently it's not going to be for these shows, so it's going to just, we'll probably still check. But now moving forward in the Loki show, I'm like, okay, it's not going to be any mid-credit scenes probably until the last 2 or 3 episodes. So it's not even going to even front. It bugs me. Like, I want some of my mid-credit scenes, but I guess it's not really pertinent, considering that this is like a episodic show, and like those mid-credit scenes supposed to leading up to, I guess. Well, I mean, I'm thinking like they should do mid-credit scenes for all the episodes and what to expect in the next episode, kind of thing. But I guess I don't know if there's spoilers or they just like, we don't have to put so much into those except for the last few episodes, so that way they can like have the fans salivate for like the upcoming ending of the show. And I'm not sure. These are just one and done seasons. I can definitely see Falcon and the Winter Soldier having like a second season. WandaVision, obviously not. That was a definitely one and done season. And I never had too much stock in WandaVision. It's pretty much like a romantic comedy kind of deal, or a romantic comedy dramedy kind of situation. It's like, it's cool, but I'm more so looking forward to seeing her in the Doctor Strange movie. But yeah, in the end credit scenes anyway, you get to see Walker making his own Captain America shield, which is going to be some basic metal, probably at the most titanium, which is not going to be any way, shape, or form capable of doing daily squat against a vibranium shield Sam has. But we'll see. But man, that was pretty much the episode. I gotta say, I definitely definitely love this episode. I think episode 2 moving forward to now is probably like the best episodes. It's like each topping each other. Episode 1's kind of like it's good, but it's kind of like a little bit of a slow burn, but it's just like it's a setup episode, obviously. But man, this show is better than WandaVision. I gotta be honest with you, it's definitely better than WandaVision. And they didn't do us dirty with introducing a certain character and turn her or him into a boner joke like WandaVision did with you know who. But yeah, that is my spoiler review of the Falcon and Winter Soldier episode 5. Next episode, the final episode of the season, will be appearing on my birthday, so that'll be the only video that I'll be posting that day. I'll be mostly taking a break on the second half of next week, so look forward to that. Gonna be like getting out birthday shout outs and everything like that, so if you want to give out a birthday shout out or whatever, please leave a comment below. That'd be greatly appreciated. And yeah, I'm loving this episode. Please let me know what your thoughts are about this episode. What do you think about like Miss Dreyfus and her cameo in this? Which all I could think about Elaine. It's like every time I see her, I think of Elaine because I watched Seinfeld as a kid with my father. Or I haven't seen V, but I know she's in V because it's like all these little promotional stuff for V for all these years, and it's like that's the only two things, like the major things she ever been in. She's been in stuff. I'm pretty sure she's been in other stuff, but those are the two major things she is highly recognized in. So it's like, what you think of that? What you think of Sam in this episode? Zemo, Bucky, Sam's family. You know, which I love how like Sam, which I don't know why they didn't pull this earlier in this season, got the neighborhood families, not their family, but the neighborhood to help out because their parents helped them out, a long time ago. It's like, why didn't you call in these favors from the beginning? If they knew, like, you're in dire straits, they obviously should know you're in dire straits. You hang out with them every once in a while, they should know. I'm pretty sure you or your sister were brought it up, and it's like, yo, let me help you out with this boat's engine, or let me help you paint this or restore it in some fashion. Let me give you some new wood to like fix it up. And why wasn't it got brought up earlier and they just now got this bold idea? I don't know, maybe because they was thinking about selling it, but they changed their mind now. At least the sister changed her mind now about selling it. But yeah, that was the episode. Look forward to next week for the final episode, and I will see you all later. Peace.